John Calvin on Psalm 119, verses 159 through 170. Consider how I love thy precepts. Quicken me, O Lord, according to thy loving kindness. Thy word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. Shin. Princes have persecuted me without a cause, but my heart standeth in awe of thy word. I rejoice at thy word as one that findeth great spoil. I hate and abhor lying, but thy law do I love. 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgments. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Lord, I have hoped for thy salvation, and done thy commandments. My soul hath kept thy testimonies, and I love them exceedingly. I have kept thy precepts and thy testimonies, for all my ways are before thee. Tau. Let my cry come near before thee, O Lord. Give me understanding according to thy word. Let my supplication come before thee. Deliver me according to thy word. See how I love your precepts. Preserve my life, O Lord, according to your love. When the saints speak of their own piety before God, they are not chargeable with obtruding their own merits as the ground of their own confidence, but they regard this as a settled principle, that God, who distinguishes his servants from the profane and wicked, will be merciful to them, because they seek him with their whole heart. Besides, an unfeigned love of God's law is an undoubted evidence of adoption, since this love is the work of the Holy Spirit. The prophet, therefore, although he arrogates nothing to himself, very properly adduces his own piety for the purpose of encouraging himself to entertain the more insured hope of obtaining his request through the grace of God which he had experienced. At the same time, we are taught that there can be no true keeping of the law but what springs from free and spontaneous love. God demands voluntary sacrifices, and the commencement of a good life is to love him, as Moses declares in Deuteronomy 10, verse 12, quote, "And now, O Israel, what does the Lord require of you but to love him?" Unquote. The same thing is also repeated in the summary of the law, Deuteronomy 6, verse 5, quote, "You shall love the Lord your God." Unquote. For this reason, David has previously stated that the law of God was not only precious, but also delightful to him. Now, as in keeping the law, it behooves us to begin with voluntary obedience, so that nothing may delight us more than the righteousness of God, so on the other hand, it must not be forgotten that a sense of the free goodness of God and of his fatherly love is indispensably necessary in order to our hearts being inclined to this affection. So far are the bare commandments from winning men to obey them, that they rather frighten them away. Hence it is evident that it is only when a man shall have tasted the goodness of God from the teaching of the law that he will apply his heart to love it in return. The frequency with which the prophet repeats the prayer that God would quicken him teaches us that he knew well the frailty of his own life, so that in his estimation men live only in so far as God every moment breathes life into them.